History doesn't repeat, but it sure does rhyme. Hey everybody, Scott Walters, welcome to the channel. If you're new, I want to thank you for coming. If you're returning, I want to thank you for your continued support. Before we get into today's red hot topic, I'm going to politely ask you to give the video a like, subscribe to the channel, leave me a comment below. I would love to hear from you. Please watch to the end for my final thought. Hit the bell icon so you're notified when new videos are released. It's very important to stay close to the channel in these very, very tricky times. All right, folks, welcome to the channel. It's always an honor and a privilege to be with you. I hope you're all doing great. Buckle up, strap in, another hard-hitting pull, no punches, no sugarcoating it, no rainbows and sunshine. We're just going to give it to you and give it to you straight. And folks, we have a massive new issue going on with the economy. We have a massive new issue going on with the housing market. This is insane. Who would be out there playing in these markets right now? This is borderline insanity, doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different result. The realities are, folks, we're going to have massive blowback from the pandemic. It all comes back to the pandemic. Post-pandemic stress disorders are running wild. We're seeing people fall apart in very public ways. This all comes back to the pandemic. And like I said, I really firmly believe the world we're living now is in fact full of a post-pandemic stress disorder driven environment. You see it all around you. I don't know if you guys do. I certainly do. I can feel the equilibrium is completely off. You just have to take your car out and take a drive through one of our cities and you can feel the energy. It is not calm. It is not comfortable at any level. The realities are, folks, I mean, it's almost now everybody knows a recession is coming. You can't ignore the gas prices. You can't ignore the food prices. You can't ignore these things. And like we've talked about from the beginning of this channel, and we knew this one didn't pass the smell test from the second it unleashed during a lockdown where the federal government overstimulated an economy. We've talked about fiscal cliffs, mortgage forbearance, eviction bans, unemployment benefits, you name it, all the stimulus that we poured in, not to mention the plunge protection team continuing to manipulate the stock market and then lowering interest rates and making real estate agents essential workers to stimulate the housing market, and they let it go too long. It was ridiculous, whether it was planned, orchestrated, on accident. I guess it doesn't matter at this point. We really got to move on. But one of the things I want to talk about today, folks, is, I do see a lot of things, and I probably said it myself, that history repeats itself. And it really does for all intents and purposes, but it tends to do more of history rhymes more than it repeats. We've been having doomsdayers and people predicting the end of the world since the beginning of time. And the reality is one day they will actually be right. There is an expiration date of this earth that we're currently on, is my guess. In fact, wise men and prophets have been predicting that themselves for a long time. So you got to heed to that warning. But the reality is we're supposed to live our life and enjoy our life as much as humanly possible. And one of the ways we can do that is becoming a level-headed realist and not ignore warning signs when they present themselves. And that's really what this channel is designed to do, to start the conversation, to understand we have some pretty big warning signs out there, don't we, right now? So one of the biggest warning signs, I believe personally, like I said, is when you overstimulate an economy and create the biggest housing bubble ever produced in world history. That alone is alarming because everything hinges on the housing market. We can look to the last real estate crash of 2008, and we can see this one has far exceeded that one in terms of the way it grew and how fast it grew and how big it grew. And more people now are suffering from FOMO because of our digital diet, how connected we are today, than that one. So, I mean, it's just really, become painfully obvious. Everybody knows what's going on now. Most people, like I said, if you're buried in just trying to pay your bills in survival mode, that's all consuming. I know because I've walked in those shoes in the last real estate bubble. I bought into the FOMO. I went out and bought some dream house in a dream location I thought would make me happy. And I wish I'd never done that. So this time around, we're doing it a little differently. And I want to congratulate all my viewers that continue to adopt that mindset, because I do firmly believe it is going to be, basically life-saving on many, many, many levels. But this is something that's, like I said, history tends to rhyme. And so we will, in fact, have another downturn. We've always had them. They're coming. It's here. All the data's there if you're a data-driven person. Personally, for me, I just don't think we need to get paralysis by analysis by getting stuck too much. This is coming down to basic fundamentals, and the basic fundamentals of this real estate market have left a long time ago. So now we're on, cleanup mode, trying to figure out how to navigate through this one. And again, like I said, many people just are completely clueless because they've never lived through a housing downturn firsthand or suffered the effects of that. So it's no fault of theirs that that's what's going on. But the reality is that's exactly what's going on. People just don't, and I love a lot of my fellow content creators, but I like I said, I'm not going to take much financial advice from some kid who's never lived through a downturn firsthand themselves. My own teenage kids, love them to death, love them, encourage them, tell them to go for your dreams, dream big. But they've never they lived through a housing downturn, but they don't remember dad trying to figure out how to get through it. They didn't know. When I was a kid, my parents lived through a downturn. I didn't know we were poor at the time or were struggling or whatever the case may be. And the reality is if you live in America today and you've got a car and a roof over your head, you're rich by the world's standards. But, this is the richest country in the world, and the most opportunity that's ever been offered in the world is in fact here in the US. That's why so many people try to get here. But now we're not looking quite as strong as we used to. And so the writing is purely on the wall. So one of the things I really wanted to do today, folks, is just let you know that this is insane. First of all, this is just absolute insanity. All we have to do, if you need more proof of there's a downturn coming, or you want to help somebody by helping them understand that a downturn is coming, and please help support the channel. Like I've always said, our rewards in life will always be in direct proportion to our contribution. You can contribute right now by simply supporting this channel. Give it a like, leave a comment, subscribe. Let's get this out there. Let's save some people. But when you see the heaviest hitters in the world, the Elon Musk, the Warren Buffetts, the Kathy Woods, the who else we got? Michael Burry, just to name a few, leave these markets. They are out. They're not buying in the bubble, friends. I hope you understand that. They are telling us a recession is coming. They are out of the markets. So who's in the markets? Well, retail investors. You've probably heard people say that. That's people like you and me with the little money they have. They shouldn't be gambling in these markets, trying to play investor, but we've created that climate with this new digital diet and, FOMO and all these new trends that are going on out there. It's insanity to me. It's insane. So the reality is, folks, what we can look at is this. The biggest housing bubble in world history, you have to give it some likelihood that it's going to provide the biggest crash in world history. I mean, that's basic fundamentals, basic economics, basic mathematics, just, an honest, interpretation of what we're living in. And the realities are, folks, over time, recessions and depressions have cycled. There's time frames that these have manifested, and depressions manifest approximately every 100 years. And the mathematics are alive for a depression to be produced. Have we not produced the perfect storm to actually deliver a depression? I mean, when you double the amount of money in circulation through free money printing, and you euphorically pump up all the markets in an attempt to keep them from crashing, to keep the rich rich. That's not a good thing, folks. This is pure and unadulterated market manipulation. It's not cool, in my opinion. But the reality is you have to look at that. And then the last Great Depression, the catalyst to cause it was the stock market crash. And so right now what we've produced is a massive amount of people in the stock market, and we're having companies trade at above their actual valuations because it's a gambling casino climate. And that is exactly, my friends, what happened in the last Great Depression. We had a pandemic, the Spanish flu, leading up to it. We overstimulated the economy. People felt rich. They entered the stock market. You couldn't lose. And we're seeing it rhyme all over again. In final thoughts today, folks, This one doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out. Please understand that this is in fact inevitable. It's happened since the beginning of time. We've created the perfect storm to deliver it again. We will in fact probably see another depression. If I was a betting man, we would be lucky with a correction. I would hope for a recession, but that's what we had in '08. The depression era is probably what's more likely to be delivered. Mainstream media wants to sugarcoat this. A lot of these heavy hitter investors want to sugarcoat this and play it down and minimize it, but they're all, in fact, now reporting on recessionary pain around the corner. Stay tuned to the channel because I believe we're going to have some buying opportunity right around the corner. If you appreciate the content, I want to humbly ask you to give the video a like, subscribe to the channel, leave me a comment below. Hello, social media links are in the description of this video if you'd like more access to me, along with other channels I've appeared on. I think you will love if you're watching on your television set today. Another video is in your screen at this time, along with an easy subscribe icon for your convenience. As always, thank you for your time. Please go make it count. We'll see you on the next video.